The news is replete with the rising of fuel, mainly petrol and diesel. But have you paid attention to the cost of liquefied petroleum gas? Well, that has seen some astronomical increase as well. And in case you don't know, LPG is up by about 5%. LPG is now 9.79 cedis, 76 pesos per kilo, which translates to about 140 Ghana cedis for your 14.5 kilogram cylinder. Consumers of LPG are unhappy with the upward adjustment, insisting it will affect their budgets.
For the 90 kilo, initially I was paying 120 Ghana cedis, and that can last me for like 3 months. But this morning I came, I checked the 90 kilo, it was now 185 Ghana cedis, and that is too much. You see, because it's going to affect us, and now things are just going high day in, day out. I mean, things are just increasing. When you just wake up, you see things just increasing. So the government and the ministers should do something.
Every 2 weeks, here is the place I used to buy the fuel. Last week it was 122, and today the gas, the one I bought, I think it's 14.5, and today to look at this thing, 142. The next time I'll come here, it will be either 16. It's affecting my expenditure because I'm living with 2 houses. When I buy here, the next week when I go, I have to buy here also. So if I take 100 Ghana a month, 1,000 Ghana a month, and then I buy fuel on my car, I buy fuel for my wife, I buy gas for my first house, and then the second wife, what will left for me to use?
What the government they do, no good at all. Now no, the gas where they can't buy, they put for top. If first the one where they buy, no, it be low. If you use them, but now no, everything go high. We take bike before we come here. The bike, the fuel where we buy for inside from Newtown to Alajo, you know, be small. The fuels are finished before they can't buy gas. See the money I carry, 200 Ghana. Before I buy fuel, I buy the gas. The money go down. The money have no get value.
Let's hear some views from Kumasi on this.
Yeah, they've increased now. As I saw, well, my boss said it was 17. As I came, they say 21 cities, and I was doubting because I thought because if I go there, they go, my thing say me or more, and I say this 1 kg costing 21 cities now. Pay the kg now. So me, I can't afford, so I just bought whatever I want to buy. You know, you see. Ukraine, I mean, gas in the I'm boy, I'm a man who I did. We talk gas and I do as a scarce Unyano shot too. Gas no, yen 2 mono. Now we use 100 cities. The whole day, and I'm the age day. I'm not with gas 150. We shot 2 assistants where.
The increase in the price of gas is really affecting my work as a driver. I used to purchase 100 cedis, but now I have to buy 150 cedis a day. I went to the pump to buy to fill my cylinder, but I was told it has been increased from 530 cedis to 700 cedis.
Last time I got to 530. 530 no. Another 70 cities. This is answer na yama. Yes, I yama. The say you know. Minim kg no mudu do le. The say you know. Aha. Eti anya just say we ask madam. Just say Ghana ni hu de ese na esibi ko.
FCC send the gas no boasa de no ama for no moto embo nti fita for no nya adwuma ne.
At my shop, I convert petrol engine cars to gas, but because of the increase of gas, the number of drivers who come to my shop has declined.
No, I convert. Na me ma normal bi nam dia na fe wo use gas and petrol. But petrol no one use no more gas no be use no more. FCC no go for kakra. By say no more mama. They say I cried it, no one and petrol no cry, and Amaya demand the effective.
Well, the LPG Marketers Association says the rapid change in prices is affecting their businesses due to the declining consumption rate of LPG.
This will obviously negatively affect our business because LPG is highly price sensitive. It has an elastic demand. So the little persuade that you increase the price of the product with will go a long way to affect the consumption of the product and the purchase of the product. So obviously, business is not doing too well because if you look at the statistics, consumption is on the decline now. Consumption of LPG is on a serious decline. And if measures are not taken, if the price continue to go up as it's doing now, we are afraid consumption will continue to decline and there will be a lot of negative consequences to that. Some of our members are no longer able to keep employment because we're dealing with volumes. Once the volume goes down, you cannot have the necessary margins to be able to sustain your employees.
Okay.
So some of our members have started laying off workers. We are not growing, so the consequences are quite dire.
When the going gets tough, priorities are realigned. In this episode of the Joy Living Standard series, we take you to Kaneshie, where people have taken out visiting salons and dressmakers out of their budget. Mamisi Thompson reports that although government has not increased utility tariffs, many fear the tariffs have been adjusted.
If it's 3 days, me back ramming here, Juman, depend on menya, it's back one me.
Sene we are seeing na yentie na ma bibia ubo move kula want to me move.
Recently the bill that came was almost 130 for water, and I'm wondering why the water is still going high.
Food prices are up. Fuel prices are up. Transport fares up. With the poorly regulated nature of Ghana's markets, the ordinary Ghanaian is tightening budgets to make ends meet. So, what are people kicking out of their priority lists to survive?
Like me bomitia, and here I'm a person every day. I'm a person me bomitini. And say when it's maybe between good say 2 months.
Now, I braid my hair once every 2 months. I also do my own washing because I cannot afford it.
Oh, see, I know.
Any salon I enter, either 10 or 12 cedis. So I opted for a roadside barber who charged 7 cedis. I have stopped going to the tailor because they also charge too high.
With the increment of items, it's just something that we can't talk about, but we are in it. And with the last time I went to the salon, I can't really remember because most of the times I do the washing at home, and then I basically do everything myself.
I prefer buying clothes these days because it is affordable than having to sew them.
With people deciding to cut out clothes and visiting salons less often to make ends meet, I visited Jennifer, who works inside the Kaneshie market. She targets traders who may be too busy to visit hairdressing salons in their residential communities. Jennifer says because of her target market, she has made her services affordable. But lately, her customers have not been frequent.
It depends.
The cost for the electricity bill has tripled. They were charging those with extra appliances more, so I had no option than to send my 2 hair dryers home. Even though they reduced the price at some point, it is still not easy to pay.
Her customer Davi, who had not visited her for weeks, says economic difficulties are to blame.
This is where I braid my hair. But for some time, financial difficulties is making it difficult. Davi adds that she is currently fighting with other tenants over payment of utility bills due to the unfair amount she is forced to pay monthly. Paying of bills in my house always turns into an argument. The bills are high and I would prefer my own meter. Emanuela, a church administrator, joined the conversation. She simply cannot explain how her water bills keep rising even though the Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission has not announced adjustments in tariffs.
For me, it's been going high because I usually pay, so I know how much I've been paying over the period. Recently, the bill that came was almost 130 for water, and I'm wondering why the water is still going high.
Seamstresses are also reporting low patronage. Mother has had fewer customers in recent times, but her challenge is electricity charges.
The bills are high, so what I do is pass on the cost to customers.
Nyamiche is a cleaner who is convinced that ECG has increased tariffs and wants the government to come clean.
I received 85 cedis, but it jumped to 120 in February. What baffles me is the water bill.
A month. But I say no, higher times 2.
So we are the pray for change. Country hot.
Yeah, the PRC says it's not increased its tariffs. Well, this is something we'll be following up for you. You just need to stick with Joy News. The Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfrey Yabodame, has charged the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, to go after multinational companies that are evading taxes in the country. In his view, government's efforts at widening the tax net and consequently prosecuting its development agenda are being frustrated by some big oil companies in the country. Speaking after the inauguration of the governing board of EOCO, Mr. Dame said the mandate to recover proceeds of crimes makes EOCO a revenue-generating organization for the government.
On my working visit to the offices of EOCO recently, I felt constrained to make a remark about the relatively low record of money it had recovered from the process of crime. It is undesirable for perpetrators of economic crime to conceal or keep the fruits of the crimes against the people of Ghana. Such a situation breeds mistrust in the system and robs the nation of much needed revenue for the execution of lofty development projects. In my respectful view, the mandate to recover the process of crime is one that places EOCO squarely in the position to contribute to the national purse by being a major generator of revenue. I implore the new board to formulate policies and superintend the affairs of the organization in a manner so as to efficiently boost its recovery of proceeds of crime function under the law. Property tracking mandate of EOCO, very useful for the identification and discovery of illicit property, requires cooperation with other institutions of state and relevant foreign or international agencies. I trust the board to assist the office to ensure a sound attainment of this all-important function. As indicated already in my interactions with the new executive director, there is a pressing need for EOCO to focus efforts on the investigation of serious tax fraud. There could not have been a more appropriate occasion to call for a prosecution of big tax offenders than now. With the evident competition of many sectors of the economy for the nation's scarce revenue, the situation where big companies and entities, including multinational firms operating in Ghana, which are required to contribute significantly to the tax revenue of the state, understate or hide their true income in a bid to evade satisfaction of their true obligations to the state, is unjustified. I have indicated to the management of EOCO already that the prosecution of tax offenses by big companies, including multinational firms operating in the country, will be a focus of my office this year and the years to come. I expect EOCO to devise very efficient means of investigating such offenses to ensure their able prosecution. A successful tenure of the board will require cooperation with the executive director. She's a woman I've known for upwards of 12 years. I'm confident that she will cooperate with the board in every way necessary for a smooth achievement of the objects of the organization.
Over 400 unlicensed analog gaming machines, commonly known as jackpots, have been confiscated in an operation by the Gaming Commission and the police in the Ashanti region. The illegal jackpots, mostly owned by Chinese nationals, were stocked in a warehouse at Atasemanso in Kumasi. According to the Gaming Commission, these machines were deployed at night to gaming operators within the region for gambling activities.
Ghana comes third after Kenya and Uganda on the list of sub-Saharan African countries with high prevalence of gambling behaviors among the youth. Recent research describes the increasing youth engagement in gambling as a public health concern. The research established that gambling poses a threat on health, wealth, and relationships. Gambling is a health-harming addictive behavior recently recognized in the International Classification of Diseases 11th revision. Unfortunately, the underaged are heavily exposed to the mental health-threatening activity. The Gaming Commission of Ghana is clamping down on illegal gaming operators in the country. Beatrice Baden is Public Relations Manager at the Commission.
The Gaming Commission of Ghana in 2018 made its intention known to streamline the gaming activities and phase out all analog gaming machines from the system. And so somewhere in 2021, we engaged operators of such analog machines on our intent to phase them out permanently from the system. And we gave them a deadline of December 31, 2021 to phase out all machines that they have, which are analog and are not of international standards. And so this means basically that from January 1st, 2022, anyone operating such analog machines is illegal. It is illegal to operate such analog machines, or the machines that you call the jackpot machines.
About 400 analog slot machines owned by Wutinka gaming operators were confiscated at the warehouse. According to the Commission, the portability of these jackpots exposed the youth, especially minors, to gambling at obscure places.
Let's also remember that these are machines that, because of their easy means of transportation, their portable nature, it's machines that children are often exposed to by illegal operators. And because we are more concerned about the minors, and the law also is very clear on it that minors are not supposed to be exposed to these machines, that is why we are out on the field to ensure that we enforce this directive so that minors are not exposed to the machines. And also we make it clear to the public that these machines are no longer in existence.
The AML Act 2020, Act 1044, provides that all gaming operators must verify the identity of persons who want to engage in any gaming activity. The Gaming Commission wants all operators to streamline their activities towards the adoption of conventional digital machines of international standards.
So as part of the requirements for our gaming operators, even including those who are currently operating or have the license to operate, we require of them to implement the KYC, which is the Know Your Customer. This means basically that if any customer is coming to play, we usually call the customers punters. If any punter is coming to play, ensure that the person goes through what is called the verification, identification and verification. So the person will have to display an ID card which bears the person's photograph as well as the age to ensure that minors are prevented from engaging in such gaming acts.
For Joy News, Emmanuel Bright Kweku reporting.
From Kumasi to Wale, residents of Funge in the Northeast region are demanding the intervention of the Inspector General of Police and the National Security Minister in the search for a missing 5-year-old girl. The residents made the call after the police in the municipality reportedly rejected their request to conduct a review of the CCTV camera installed in the town by the National Security Secretariat. The disappearance of the girl has left the entire neighborhood in a state of restlessness as relatives and friends continue to search the municipality. According to the residents, they believe the municipal police are not equipped enough to adequately investigate and help them find this girl.
The 5-year-old girl Umi Dresus is spotted to have gone missing on the 21st of last month while she was returning from school. Her friends have said she was last seen being carried on a bicycle by an unidentified man. At her family home, her mother has been grieving in a state of complete distraught as neighbors thronged the house to condole with her. She recounts to us how her daughter disappeared and is yet to be traced. I saw staff at the roadside, and on that day I saw her crossing the road with her mate from their school towards our house. So I thought she was going home until I got home around 4 o'clock to cook and could not find her. I sent for her from her grandma's place, but she was not there. I followed up and could not find her. I asked her friends and they said they saw her riding on a bicycle with a man towards that direction. We searched around and we went to Eagle FM for an announcement and reported to Mbadurana, but we still haven't seen her. This is the 10th day since she got missing. I have not heard from her and there is still no news of her whereabouts. The father of the girl, Idrisu Abdallah, is equally worried.
Since then, we've not slept. Every time that we think of those things, for me, I don't even like going to social media because of those things. Whenever I saw us at all, I set eyes on her picture. I shed tears. If you have a child and the child pass on, you know that your child has passed on. But if you know you have a child and she got missing, and you don't even know right now what is she eating. Those who have picked her, you don't even know whether the food that they have offered the child, whether she eats the food or not. That is the 11th day. Well, it was on the 21st of February, and this is the 10th day. So we are gradually losing hope. We don't think whether we can find her again.
The disappearance of the girl has left the residents of the Forney neighborhood in a state of complete sadness. Almost every member of the community is taking part in the search for the little girl. The uncle of the girl, Ganiu Issa, said the girl is believed to have been kidnapped on her way back from her school, which is located along the main road where a national CCTV camera has been installed. Speaking on behalf of the family, Ganiu says a review of the surveillance footages could help unravel the identity of the said unknown man who was reportedly seen carrying the child away on a bicycle.
This is a very unfortunate incident. The incident has torn all of us apart. The community is living in a state of fear, anxiety, and restlessness. We cannot sleep, we cannot eat, and we cannot do anything. Everything has turned to stand still, and yet we haven't seen any result from the police and from other concerned members. We are very sure that the CCTV cameras, which were mounted recently as a result of the increased rate of armed robbery in these communities, can have significant effect in unearthing whatever that might have transpired in the case of the child. The police are adamant in this case. We are very certain that the CCTV camera can unveil it. If this CCTV camera cannot be used, then the essence of the CCTV camera in this community becomes the tragedy of the commons. It does not serve the purpose of everybody. We call on our brother, our senior-most brother, the Vice President of Ghana, to look into this matter. We call on the IGP to look into the matter. We call on all many Ghanaians to come out and stand for the right of the child. It's a female child and it's a school-going old-age child that everybody should be concerned about.
The assemblyman of the area, Mohammed Shani, says the residents are, however, getting frustrated by the attitude of the police towards the matter.
We are telling the police to inquire into the CCTV camera, and they are saying that they are not controlling them. So what is the essence of them being mounted there?
Quite a pathetic one. I mean, well, the earlier the IGP and his men act, the better. Let's go to other stories. Spoken in the central region, it is one of the oldest languages in Ghana, and yet many of its natives can't read, speak, or write it. Through a radio show, a group of people who look like the last generation of Efutu speakers are trying to drum home the message of its extinction. For Ghana Man Today, Justice Baidu traveled to Winneba to meet those behind the show. Here is his report.
Welcome to Winneba, Efutu's capital. It is the biggest town here, a historic fishing city originally called Simpa.
Radio Peace, 88.9 megahertz FM stereo.
These panelists are on a radio show to remind people about their language, the Efutu language, and to ask them to speak it.
Some of us who were even lucky to meet grandparents who were talking to our parents in the Efutu language, even suffered before we can learn the language.
Esther Nyako has been doing this program for more than 20 years. She's one of the few in her generation who still speaks Efutu in Winneba.
There are some people from Efutu who even, excuse my language, I can say shun away from the language. They don't want to even speak the language when you meet them.
During the time I was in primary school, if you don't know when you speak Efutu, the teachers have made some necklace with this seashells. They will put rope through all, then create it with a chain. So when they hear that you are speaking Efutu language, they just hang it in your neck to tell people to hoot at you that you are speaking Efutu language in school.
Simple debi lapa Efutu abra adam afadon owuna we swante bene iswante amujo rane.
The Efutu language is one of Ghana's oldest, spoken by a group known to be part of the Gwans, who are acknowledged as the Aborigines of Ghana.
The language has died. So when you ask someone in Efutu dialect, in fact, you won't get even about 6 or 7 people to understand the language. There's no books for the children to learn about the language. It is all the time fancy, English and fancy. And therefore, when the child go to school and speak the Efutu language, people will laugh. They will laugh at the children.
The Efutu language, like many Ghanaian languages, is on the brink. And the last generation of people who speak it are racing against time to try saving it. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Winneba.
I'm back here in Accra in our studios in Kokomlemle. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Now, finding addresses and locations in Western countries is usually easy using the Google map. However, poor road layouts and informal settlements, especially in Sub-Saharan Africa, makes it difficult to do same here. Fortunately, the problem is being addressed with the MyTrosky app developed by the KNUST. More on Tech Thursday.
With the lack of mapping for a lot of areas, including schools, market and hospitals in Ghana, many residents resort to the use of informal names. KNUST researchers therefore took advantage of address points of landmarks in local communities and trotro services to generate data for the app's development. Dr. Gift Dumeda is project lead.
MyTrosky was developed to make sure that people can have easy access to their local services, be it a clinic, police service, fire service, or a shopping. and all of these information are included in my trust key. And we also make sure that it has a local context by incorporating the local Twi language in it. Now, the Twi language allows us access for people who are not familiar with English, so that they can use the Twi to be able to access their navigation. Currently, the My Trust Key app can be used in two modes. One, when you have data, and then a second case where you do not have mobile data. And My Trust Key can be currently downloaded. You can go and Google My Trust Key at mytrustkey-gh.com, and you'll be able to download My Trust Key. Alternatively, you can also go to Google Play Store and search for My Trust Key.
The researchers say they will soon release the iOS version of the app. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
We can now take some comments on our social media platforms on the LPG, and there's our top story this afternoon. There is a 5% increase in prices of liquefied petroleum gas. How is it affecting your budget? That's actually what we posted on Facebook. Let's check out what you've been saying. Anas Arimeo Anas, okay, says Ghana is never a place to survive. Just imagine how the prices of everything is increasing. And Emmanuel says, Ayeka, I'll resort to using charcoal. And Tectonic Abraham says, it's cool. They should go ahead with the e-levy to be able to pay government workers. We have the men. Our leaders have taken us for granted. Those are some of your comments. Pepra Isaac says, we have reached a point of no return. So me, I don't care anymore. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. And you have Filippo Plastini saying there's nothing like MPP and NDC cylinder. We are all in it. And there's those emojis of laughing out loud. And still to come in business, escalating prices of crude oil on the international market. We have details shortly in business.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The escalating prices of crude oil on the international market amid the Russia-Ukraine conflict makes it critical for the country to increase its local refinery base. Energy specialist Dr. Yusuf Suleimana says it's the reason government must invest in revamping the operations of the Tema oil refinery. The price of oil has hit record highs, currently selling around $114 a barrel, and consumers will bear the brunt if government does not intervene. Speaking to Joy Business, Dr. Suleimana said refining our own oil and cutting down on imports will improve on Ghana's energy security.
This is one of the internal mechanisms. See the quantum of hard-earned currency, dollars that we use. We use dollars to import this finished product. We convert them to CD. We sell them in CD. We convert them to dollar, and then we import back. That kind of forex dynamics is impacting on the price buildup. Let's just assume that TOR can run and TOR can absorb, let's say, just 30% of whatever we import. So that instead of importing over 90 to 100%, we can only import, like, let's say, even 60% from outside. That is a source of energy security for us. So it is in the best interest of the nation to ensure that they have a local refinery base. A local refinery base that is buoyant. A local refinery base that can be operated like a business entity, that can churn up, that can be profitable. TOR can be a starting point. Government talked about retooling TOR. TOR is a point that can easily pick up. TOR is not collapsed. I can say that on record. The government need to just put in some kind of investment into the sector and to bring it back. Because as we speak now, TOR is now an energy security issue for the government. And if TOR is able to run profitably, market, the word is profitable. If TOR is able to run profitably, It will help two ways. These volatilities that we are having, that is impacting us so much, we are not going to have that. If TOR is running, the kind of shock on our currency, the kind of shock that we have on this exchange rate volatility, it will reduce.
Now, the Ghana Stock Exchange is making a call for local investors to consider patronizing the equity market to boost confidence as it is done on the bond market. Now, according to Managing Director Eko Afezi, the debt market has more domestic investors benefiting than the equity market. He's therefore advised that local investors consider and support the equity market to build the economy.
When you look at the bond market, you see a shift in terms of the investor profile from foreigners dominating to local. That shift happened, I think, a year or 2 years ago. Now we have more domestic investors than foreign invested, which is good. It creates confidence in the market. That even the foreign investor knows that when it comes to our market and he wants to sell and just get out of the market or liquidate investments, there are local investors who can pick them up, which is very key. And so you have about 70 to 30% or so in terms of domestic versus foreign, which is fine. On the equity market, it's about the same, about 50-50. And it's important that we rather get more domestic investors to be interested in the equity market. The only way we can develop our economy and businesses is through equities, apart from the other financing methods that you can have. But equity is important, it's key.
Could it also be that the foreigners are losing interest in our market?
No. The foreigners are a lot more in the equities than, I told you, than the domestic. And also when you take the bond side, I told you the other way around. All that it means is that we are getting more domestic, big institutional investors who are buying our domestic bonds that are being issued. Then when it comes to the equity, that's why I want to see more Ghanaian retail investors and institutional investors like pension funds also taking part in this market.
And just before we go, coming up later in the day on Joy Business Social, our conversation on the state of our economy, we are asking, can Ghana ever attain financial independence? This conversation ahead of Independence Day celebrations. Yalate will be with me, partner Deloitte Ghana, also Dr. Daniel Amate Nim, Executive Director, Policy Initiative for Economic Development, and Dr. Edu Osu-Sarkodie, who is an economics lecturer at the University of Ghana. It's at 6 p.m. on Facebook. Don't miss it. Up next, sports.
Let's do sports now on Joy News today. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Vice President of the country, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has revealed government is in talks with the National Sports Authority and the Ghana Football Association to digitize tickets for football matches across the countries. Long queues have been a major challenge, especially at matches like Liberty Professional, Biswan Dwarfs, and Inter Allies. And he believes that across all centers, people should be able to have access to tickets on their phones.
Government is willing to support any institution, public or private, which intends on implementing digital initiatives for efficiency. Actually, we've engaged the Ghana Sports Authority, National Sports Authority, because we need to digitize football tickets to enter the stadium. Because it takes a long time for us to, you should be able to sit at home and buy your tickets and go and enter the stadium without any kululu at the gate. So we are going to do exactly that, and you will see it in the next few months. We will all start using our phones to buy tickets to go and watch football in the country, inshallah.
Last season, Liberty Professionals, Biswan Dwarfs, and Inter Allies were relegated in the competition to the Division 1 League, and they are participating in the Division 1 League this season. The three clubs spent so many years in the Ghanaian top flight last year, but got relegated. Their current performances in the ongoing Division 1 season suggest they may struggle to gain quick promotion back to the Ghana Premier League. My colleague Lawrence Beidou has more in this report.
After suffering relegation to Zone 3 of Ghana's Division 1 League last season, Liberty Professionals and Inter Allies were expected to be the front-runners for an immediate return to the Ghana Premier League. However, life in the second tier has not been a piece of cake for them as was expected, especially for Inter-Allies. The Tema-based club, at the end of the first round of games in the Division 1 League, find themselves in the second half of the table. Inter-Allies won just 4 of their first 15 games, losing 5 and drawing 6, leaving them in the 11th position. Liberty, on the other hand, have put behind them a poor start to the campaign and currently lie in third, winning 8 of their 15 games. The Scientific Soccer lads are just a point behind the leaders, and with 15 games still to play, could they take the opportunity to give their GPL return a shot in the leg? Former Ghana Premier League side Tema Youth are also looking to return after narrowly missing out last season, but they have to work harder to go top of the table, which is currently occupied by Kotoku Royals with 30 points.
We wrap up with boxing now, where boxer George Ashe is confident he can defeat former boxing organization Africa lightweight champion Robert Quay as the two fighters clash at the Bukom Boxing Arena on Boxing Day. Ashe and Quay vie for the International Boxing Federation Super Lightweight crown. George Ashe was a guest on Sports Today on Wednesday.
It's a game of boxing. Boxing, if you don't black, you can move forward. So I think he's talking too much, and I think the ring will decide that night. Me, only talk I'm talking is yes, is to relax. We don't black in boxing. We fight in boxing. So
but the bragging, the bragging is because he knows he's a confident boxer. He's undefeated. He knows that he can do it. So that's why he's.
This is the first defeat.
This will be his first defeat.
First defeat.
I see.
Seriously.
I see. Now, tell me about your career and where you, at the stage you are at now. You've seen your ups and your downs, and I was asking your promoter a few minutes ago. Tell me about what runs through your mind these days, especially as you're building up to a big fight like this. This is going to win you, if you are able to win, will win you the IBF Continental Africa title, and it will get you up in the ratings.
In boxing, you can start early, but you can finish. In boxing, you can start now, but you can finish. But in boxing, everything you have to pray to God that He should give you a big way. And this is, I know this is my time for now. The hour has come, so I think I can do something for Ghana this time.
And FIFPro have just announced that 2 Ukrainian footballers have died in the war between Russia and Ukraine. This is how we wrap up sports here on Joy News today. With me, Muftar Nabila. You can head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories. Up next is World News.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. Now, rapper Trackmatic has revealed talents in Ghana are mostly retired before their time. In an interview on Showbiz A to Z, the rapper says Ghanaians have developed this culture over the years and must stop.
Can we say if an old, I hate to use the word old, but if a producer from back then with hits, I mean, we can look at countless of them, you know, did a halftime show. Let's say we're bringing that concept here. Can he sell? Would the eyeballs still be the same? Because for me, I think it's a culture we have grown over time. It's a culture because when I was very, very young, I still heard my dad play songs from the 70s.
Yeah.
And even when I grew, I still heard him go with that
with
music.
those songs,
You know, but now we shove songs away easily. Even not songs, even actors, actresses.
We retire them quickly.
We retire them. You know, so you come for 6 months and you're already, this guy. School. Yeah, because there's a new guy.
Meanwhile, Trackmatic has advised creatives to respect and take their craft serious so investors can support the industry.
Today you hit your chest like you forget. The other culture too is the ethics. You know, everybody knows that entertainers are told to come at 9 o'clock. They will come at 12. And so they are dealing with corporate bodies who don't joke with time, who have a corporate language, you know. And so we must take ourselves also serious. We must make sure if 12 is 12. If you come in, even if you book me and it's 1 hour, you don't beg me to perform more than an hour. It's an hour. If you also, your sound check is at 5 and I come, the sound check must be at 5. And so when respect is through the entire chain, you know, it's automatic. Certain places, like when you're going to the Ministry of Defense, there are certain things you can't do there. So that when I come to a show, I know that there's a producer. I know that at this time there's this. So people who are also paying, we must sell the value to them. That, for instance, red carpet is 7. They've always said they'll drive you to the place at 7, and it always goes over it. We make it look like it's fine. You know, because the talents come late and we still tolerate it.
And that'll be it for Joy News today. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.